Welcome to Unity Inspired Living. Our community began in 1989 as a small worldwide Unity book study group, and we've continued the momentum as an ever-evolving spiritual community. Each Sunday, you will find dynamic thought leaders delivering inspiring messages and talented musicians sharing sound healing through their melody. Here, we embrace ancient spiritual traditions, universal truths, and emerging wisdom. Let's check out this Sunday message. We're so grateful you've joined us.
My name is Amy Van Ling, and I am gratefully, joyfully the spiritual director of this spiritual community, Unity Inspired Living, and we are so grateful to be together. Every week here, we are bringing to you a unique expression and a very powerful experience because we have dynamic thought leaders. Today, we have Reverend Savannah with us. And we have incredibly talented musicians. Today, we have Jesse Powers with us. And it just brings such a huge smile to my face because Savannah is in Seattle, Washington. Jesse is in Columbus, Ohio. We are all over the place and we get to come together on this platform, and it is truly magical and so powerful. So thank you for being here with us and co-creating the space. We do that together. We definitely create this space together. So welcome in. Today, it just occurred to me as I was pulling our title up, is the International Day of Peace. It's like, we thought it was the fall autumn equinox, but it's actually tomorrow. So we're sliding into fall, though I think the weather everywhere is kind of telling us, I'm right here. Savannah was just saying it's raining there and looking a little fall-ish. So today is the International Day of Peace, and one of the reasons we have our annual Peace Walk in September is sort of in conjunction with this day and also the Unity World Day of Prayer. And so just coming back to like, where does peace begin? And our theme this month is peace in the present. So this ties in with peace being a personal practice, like in the moment, the moment that we're in. And sometimes we're looking outside of ourselves to find it and see where it's happening and then tune into it over there. And really, it's not in some far off someday hope that we'll, find peace, but it's really in the way that we move and breathe and show up and listen and respond in every single moment. So when we come back to remembering that, we realize how powerful peace is and how powerful we are to bring peace into our world. Because I really feel like peace asks us to be here now in the presence and in the moment with open hearts and kind of see and feel beyond the stuff. Make space for harmony no matter what the world is showing up as. So I hope to see you at our Peace Walk on Tuesday evening, and invite you to celebrate the International Day of Peace today as we move into our theme. Hello, everybody. I see everybody logging in with us. Pat's here. She says she's in Oregon. Welcome in, beloved. Savannah's online with us. Jennifer is here. Hi, sweetheart. Peace and blessings to you too. Welcome in, sweet, precious souls. We are so glad to be together. I am thrilled today for this beautiful array of faces on our screen. I'm here with Reverend Savannah Noëlle, Jesse Powers, and Nancy Pimentel, and we're so grateful for this connection, for this communion, to be able to find you on the other side of the technology. I'm grateful, delighted, honored to bring back with us this morning our beautiful Savannah Noëlle. She is a bright, shining light in the world in so very many ways. And she has a very dynamic message for us this morning, which is a beautiful mess, seeing the truth beyond appearances. And I know Savannah always just brings it, so just buckle in. That's what I could say. Buckle in, get ready, because we're ready to go. There will not be a workshop today, but the connection link is always open, the Zoom link, for anybody who wants to jump in there and just connect and chat and maybe debrief the talk. Sometimes that needs to happen after Savannah's talk. So a lot that you're digesting. So thank you, beloved, for being here with us this morning. We're so grateful. We also have on the screen with us the fabulous, amazing Jessie Powers. She's back here again. I'm so grateful we've had her presence with us several times this year. I hope our connection gets to continue. I know she's a busy woman in the world, sharing her incredibly dynamic sound and just deeply soul nourishing songs and her music. So thank you, Jessie, for saying yes to us again and being here with us this morning. We also have Nancy on the screen, and she's here. She has our selected reading for the day, inspirational reading, and community announcements, and she'll bring us into our prayer of prosperity this morning. So thank you, Nancy, for saying yes and bringing your lovely, beautiful, bright, shining soul to us via the technology waves. And thank you, everybody who is tuning in on the other side with us. We welcome you in. We're so glad that you found us. If it's your first time here, welcome. We're grateful. We don't believe in accidents. So we know that you're here for a divine appointment, and we're truly grateful for that. So welcome in. Thank you for tuning in and tuning within this morning. We are going to begin by just reaffirming and remembering and tuning into our mission statement, just kind of a grounding, anchoring us into, what are we doing here? And I know, we know we're being the light in the world, and this is really honing us into our personal mission here at Unity Inspired Living. And we are fostering love and wisdom, inspiring transformation, offering compassionate outreach, and embracing unity. And it's so much more dynamic and powerful when we're doing this together, collectively. So thank you for saying yes and being with us. I'm going to hand the screen over to Jessie now. She's got our community song for us. So I invite everybody to, really lean into this and sing out loud, even if you're not alone, but why not if you're alone? Because it really gets the energy moving through your energy centers and opens your throat chakra and opens your heart space. So many great things with music and singing. So take us away, Jessie.
Thank you, Amy. I was saying before we got on here to the live stream that all of the predecessors who are still so great and prevalent today, Eddie Watkins Jr., Gary Lynn Floyd, Karen Drucker, there's so many. They've created so many of these great chants. And so I'm just going to play one by Eddie Watkins Jr. because it's far better than any of the chants that I've written so far. So repeat after me. You're my little echo. Here we go. Take a look at the person next to you. Say God loves you and I love you too. Feel the love in the sanctuary or in your living room. Raise your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Now take a look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. You can say it to your cat too. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Raise your voice and repeat after me. Here we go. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love, in every walk of life. Every creed and color, and we reunite in honor of the good in each other. Take a look at the person next to you, and now we're going Eastern. Say namaste, I bow to you. Feel the love in the sanctuary, in your living room, in the Zoom room. Raise your voice and repeat after me. We come together. We come together. We come together. In the name of love. Sing it. We come together. We come together.
That was awesome. I love that. And come together is our theme for our peace walk on Tuesday. So it's also perfect. It always works out like that though, doesn't it? I just absolutely love Jesse and your energy and just the soul that you bring. And I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for that opening song. Okay, I'm going to hand the screen over to Nancy. She has our inspirational reading this morning and some announcements for us. And I know there's a lot going on. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. There's so many announcements for our annual events happening for the rest of this month. Be sure to stay for the community connection. There will not be a workshop today. And please mark your calendar right now and join us for our 10th annual Peace Walk happening this coming Tuesday, September 23rd, beginning at 6:30 in the Brentwood City Community Park. Amy will be opening our gathering, and Father Tom will share a message of hope and peace, and John Shin will be our music leader. Spread the word, bring family and friends, and join us in sharing the message of peace in the world. Also, mark your calendars for our big fundraiser, our 11th annual yard sale, this coming Saturday, September 27th. Bring donations to Jan's Thursday the 25th or Friday the 26th, or early Saturday morning the 27th. We still need volunteers to help on Saturday, so please also sign up to help prepare and work at the sale. Call me. Many hands make light work. Last year we had 20 volunteers involved. And come over to Jan's on this Thursday from 4 to 8 or Friday from 4 to 8 for the pre-sale. Lots of clothes, household decorations, and jewelry. Always fun and a chance to be the first to see all the amazing treasures. Bring your friends too. Plus, you can try on clothes and jewelry. Call Jan if you need directions. And tonight, our monthly meandering this month is Libby's Sound Bath Healing event, taking place at her new venue on Lone Tree in Brentwood. Please go to her website and scroll down to read about and register for this sound healing event happening tonight, Sunday, September 21st, from 7 until 8 at Yoga 6. It's 5471 Lone Tree Way in Brentwood. You must register and pay in advance, $35, and you can call Libby at 925-628-8405 or go to her website, bayareasoundbath.com, to register. Limited space, but there's still availability. We invite you to join others in our community in making a donation to the Mitchell Van Lang Memorial Fund to support Karen Mingus's granddaughter, Shaylin, who sustained major injuries in a catastrophic auto accident earlier this summer. Please contribute to their GoFundMe page, find the information in our weekly connection, or make a one-time or ongoing contribution to our memorial fund via PayPal, Zelle, or personal check, and put Karen Mingus's name in the notes. And please stay connected with all that's going on here at Unity Inspired Living by checking in on our website, unityinspiredliving.org, and our Facebook page, Unity Inspired Living, and also reading our weekly connection, which comes to your email weekly on Wednesdays. And now it's time for our inspirational reading for September's theme of peace in the present. Our reading is from Daily Word, November 2019. The words are inner peace. In my quiet heart, I find peace. When Paul wrote about the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, I know he was indicating there is no specific location where I can find peace. Rather, peace is a state of heart-centered awareness that is always within me, just as my heart beats, whether I think about it or not. I can retreat into this heart space whenever I become quiet, relaxed, and focus on my heart's rhythm. Even as I sense my pulse, I become aware of this heavenly peace, one that is always mine, simply by focusing my attention there. When I arise from centering myself in peace, I find myself more patient and kind with a softer expression on my face. I am set free to express my heart of peace. And from Jude 1:2, may mercy, peace, and love be yours in abundance. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nancy, for that. You know, mercy always seems like such a like I don't know, like a strong word, and it's actually such a gentle word. It's like such a gentle feeling tone behind it, to have mercy, and that can also bring so much peace to like let something go, like just be um, um, just at one with whatever's happening. So thank you, Nancy. You are a peaceful presence, and we are so grateful for you. And thank you for all the announcements. I know we have a lot going on around here. So I'm going to hand the screen back to Jessie, and she has more inspirational, soulful music for us. Thank you, Jessie.
I actually wrote this song a number of years ago, closer to the pandemic, for the World Meditation Day, where everybody meditates at the same time. But, all in the name of peace. So here we go. We can change the world if we want to. We can change it all if we want. Sit with me, we can be 6 feet apart. We'll bow our heads and honor that which is greater than we are. Take the pain inside your heart and give it to the light. Together we're better, so let yourself remember that tonight. Because we can change the world if we want to. We can change it all if we want. We can change the world if we want to. We can change it all if we want. It isn't mine to ever know the answer to it all. But what I do know is we must go where we are called. Everything is screaming out, honey, it's all inside. Begin with me within and see the peace that we ignite. Stillness is the way. Stillness is the way. Stillness is the way. Stillness is the way. Gonna breathe in, gonna breathe out. That's about all that we can do right now. Baby, it's not ours to figure out today. Gonna be here, gonna be now, and peace of mind is gonna find us somehow. And I know that stillness is the way. 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 And we can change the world if we want to.
Oh, I love it. Science of Mind magazine said that Jessie is a force of artistic goodness, a poetic priestess of song. I say absolutely. That is true. Thank you, Jessie. I'm going to hand the screen over to Nancy. She has our prayer of plenitude this morning. Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you. I invite you to join me now for our prayer of plenitude as we welcome and receive the glorious abundance today and every day. Take a deep breath, breathing in love and light. Hold it gently. Now release it slowly as you connect through your heart with our message of prosperity. We come together today, opening our hearts and minds to the one Spirit, the light, infinite mind, knowing that there is only one power and one life, and that is the life of Spirit. We affirm that we are one with Spirit, and there is no one, nothing that is separate from this oneness. We are one with that infinite mind that has created all that is. We know that the divine qualities of peace, of power, of plenty, of wisdom are already within each of us, and we embrace those qualities now. We step forward with love and anticipation, standing in the truth of who and what we are, saying yes to our prosperity, harmony, health, order, love, and our amazing expansion in all its forms. And with the greatest gratitude, we accept this transformation of consciousness for ourselves and our community. We know that it is done, and we give thanks. Now we release, we let go, and we let Spirit do its perfect work through us. We trust the universe to provide for us. It is done, and so it is. Thank you.
Thank you so very, very much, Nancy. We are so grateful for you. You always bring us into a space of depth, I would say richness and depth. So we appreciate your beauty. I'm going to hand the screen over to Jessie. And oh, wait, where are we? Are we finished? Finished. No, we have another song. Yes. We have one more song, and I'm going to hand the screen over to Jessie. And what I was doing, I was searching for Jessie's bio because there were some really great things that they said about Jessie, and she has them listed in her bio. And I just wanted to read this one line because this will resonate. Jessie's music has been described as real, raw, down to the earth, like emotional surgery. And I was searching for that bio because I knew there was something really potent in there, and that was it. And I always feel that when you're here with us, Jessie. So thank you so much for bringing your depth to us. I'm going to hand the screen back over. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. I appreciate that. All right. You have a part in this song. Everyone does. And it's very easy. It goes like this. Just like that. I don't want to give words to this. And anything you have to interpret will only eclipse the heart of it. I just want to send it in sound with a wavelength clarity. Ooh, nothing I could ever say will resonate the same way that this love does in me. Inhale, exhale, breathe. Somewhere in the beat of your heart, there I am. And somewhere underneath all the war-torn believing, there you have always been. It's something like a melody, it's something like a song, and it sings itself and it's never wrong. Oh, everywhere it plays for me, it's always on repeat. It's the love song of everything. Inhale, exhale, breathe. It's not just there in my body. It's not just there in the thoughts that I think. It's there in the roots, in the skies and the seas, in the eyelids, the irises, the wind and the wings, in the will be, the ever was, the reason and the just because. I am the song that I sing. Inhale, exhale, breathe.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's just like a deep prayer right there. That is emotional surgery. Yes. We appreciate you, Jesse. Thank you for bringing your soul to us, and that's resonates so deeply here in this space. And thank you for activating this space, both you and Nancy. Thank you for just shining so brightly. There's so much love coming in on the feed for both of you, for the reading, for the music. Michael J says, follow the breath of love, this song. Thank you. Yes. I know there's like millions of hearts going out. So I know it touched everybody the same exact way it touched me. Thank you. Thank you both so much for being here this morning with us. We love you. We appreciate you. We bless you. So we'll see you on the other side. Thank you. Thank you. Mwah. Oh, divine souls, I get to be sharing with you this morning a special woman in my world, Reverend Savannah Noel. She's a shining star. Let me read her bio for those of you who are just getting to know her. Reverend Savannah Noel started her spiritual path at the age of 16 years old in Denver, Colorado at Mile High Church. Growing up in the New Thought movement, Savannah became the first youth community spiritual leader for what was formerly known as the United Church of Religious Science in 2022 to 2026. Her passion for global outreach took her to Ukraine, where she taught, led conferences on the Black Sea, and worked with the SOM youth and activists over a span of 11 years. She has served on the CSL Visioning Corps, the Spiritually Motivated Social Engagement Committee, the Youth and Family Ministries Corps, Global Services Corps, and the CSL Events Team. An ordained minister with a master's degree in consciousness studies and a bachelor's degree in religious studies, Savannah has been a guest speaker at events all over the U.S. as well as many other places. She's worked extensively with global outreach in Egypt during their Arab Spring Revolution in 2012, and over the last, I think this bio is a couple of years old now, so it's
I was like, oh my God.
I think we're ready for a new bio, actually. Savannah's like this, and like we're gonna just keep adding to her bio. And she has taught hundreds of students with her signature classes, workshops across the world. And you may have seen her face on the cover of the February 2015 edition of the Science of Mind magazine, where her article, The Sacred Amidst the Shadow, was featured. She loves cooking, being in nature, close friends, and travel. And she is still based in Seattle, Washington. That part hasn't changed, but a lot has changed. This lady is always ever evolving, and that is wonderful, because if we're not evolving, we are stagnant. And this beautiful one is not. Is not that at all. So I'm going to pray us in, and then I'm going to hand the screen over to this magnificent being. It's just coming back to the breath that Jesse was taking us so beautifully into. Just in this moment, we pause and remember the presence of God is right here, right now. This pulse, this breath, this stillness beneath our thoughts, the love that we're held by, it will never let us go. It is here now. And we're going to, in this moment, release whatever it is that feels heavy, feels like we have to control or solve or know more about, get to the bottom of. And so instead, we open up right now to the grace of simply being present. And in this presence, there's enough peace for fear, for all of our fears, anything that's coming up. There's enough strength for challenges. There's enough love to hold every single one of us. We bless this beautiful, precious soul in front of us, Savannah, as she shares today's message. May she feel anchored in this peace. May she feel our love surrounding her, enveloping her. And we're so grateful that she speaks from her deepest center, aligned with God. May her words awaken in us the truth of peace, the message of peace. And we're so present with her now, and send these blessings covering over her as we say yes. We open our hearts with deep gratitude and say yes. And I release this word into the great expanse of love, in love, and as love, and for love. So grateful for this precious, precious Savannah. Take us away into the beautiful mess.
Thank you, Amy. Well, before I dive in, I have to say how cool it is to be in the same orbit as Jessie Powers, because I remember years ago, I first heard her sing in Monterey, California. I think it was at an Asilomar conference years ago. And nobody in our organization, I think, knew her at the time. And I forget who discovered her. But she stepped on the stage and, you know, sang her heart out. And I was just like, who is this girl? She is so good. And so all these years later, I had to just sit in gratitude for the fact that we get to do this together now, all these years later. And she totally set the space for what I want to share today. So my topic is all about a beautiful mess, seeing the truth beyond the appearances. And over the years, I've had people ask me, what I believe in terms of my spirituality. I rarely these days mention that I'm a minister, depending on the crowd that I'm in, the audience that I'm talking to. But when I do say that I'm a reverend, people say, well, what do you believe in? Like, what are you a minister of? And if I was in the sanctuary right now, I would ask you all to do a show of hands. Like when somebody asks you, well, what is it that you believe in? And what is the New Thought movement, or what is the science of mind teaching? You're probably like, how much time do you have? Because for some of us, it's kind of hard to explain, right? It's like I used to get really hung up by this of how can I explain this in a way that lands for people. And ultimately, if I were to just sum it up for us all right now, it's really just about personal and collective liberation. It's about collective and personal liberation, and it's about internal power. And it's about knowing that we have dominion over our thoughts and our attention and how we view what is happening in the world or happening in our lives as something that's happening to us or something that's happening for us. And so, the essence of this teaching, if we sum it all up, yes, it's about love, but it's also about freedom. It's about freedom. It's about love. Love is the essence, and we say this all the time, love is the essence of who we are. And God, or the universe, or love itself, or divine intelligence, God is love, and love is our birthright. And so divine intelligence is our very life, and it is breathing us. And when you're in this teaching long enough, it starts to become second nature. Like, I know what I am of, I know what I'm breathing into. And when somebody starts a prayer, that is why it's so easy to just immediately drop in to that remembering, right? So the science of mind teaching says that the ultimate goal of life is to be free of discord of every nature, and that this goal is sure to be attained by all. So the goal is not to get love, but to be love everywhere and to go and embody that love to such a degree that we invite other people in the world into that loving presence, into that joy, into that infinite knowing, which is why consciousness and the work that we do in consciousness is so essential. It is why we serve. Ernest Holmes talks about how it is an open heart with a receptive mind that allows us to tap into the expansiveness of life, into opportunities that we did not see before, where we might not have seen that there were any. And so the teaching itself requires, I mean, it is a practice. Yes, it is, you could say it's a religion, but it's also a practice. It's a way of being. It is our ability to look at what's happening in the world and to see beyond the appearances of what we see there. It's becoming so in tune with our nature, with the inner knower, with that intuitiveness of ourselves, to trust life so much so to trust life fully, that when you find yourself, which you may be right now, you find yourself in the mess, you find yourself in a challenge, in a difficulty, you're overwhelmed by your life, you become so attuned to the presence and your inner intuition and remembering who you are, that you know without a doubt that there is somehow in the midst of it all a message in the mess. And I'd say a message in the beautiful mess, that your one and only job is to be still enough to hear, to listen, to observe, and then to become whatever is being asked of you to transform the reality that you're experiencing of maybe fear and lack and limitation and scarcity and defeat into healing, transformation, and liberation. And so, how do we do this? Well, the way that we do this is by maintaining an open heart through our spiritual practice. This is what I would call a practitioner or a minister's heart, which we all have. It is the basis and the foundation of our prayer work, of knowing the truth, and the truth with a capital T, despite what's happening in the world, despite the condition, despite the appearance. It is knowing wholeness despite disease or sickness. It is knowing calm and serenity despite depression and anxiety. It is knowing perfect, guided action and trust when we feel this helplessness and despair. I notice for myself that when I sit with my practitioner, when I go to see her, and we start our session with prayer, something in me immediately happens. It's like my shoulders relax, my jaw relaxes. Sometimes I start to cry. It's like we just drop into this space of breathing easier, just like what Jesse did earlier, of just taking the breath, right? I relax everything. And then I remember in that moment, and this is the practice, you guys, this is the practice of remembering that I am connected. And it feels so good to re-remember, doesn't it? Because we are so used to, when you've been doing this long enough, you're so used to this way of operating and being in the world. Even the words and the jargon, the nomenclature that I'm using right now, I find that sometimes I'm surprised when I'm walking out in the world and I hear a friend of mine going down this rabbit hole of negativity. And I forget that we are steeped in this, that when you are in this long enough, it becomes a way of being. It's no longer the intellectualization of the teaching itself, of the words. It's something that we have embodied in such a way. And that is why spiritual practice of this is so essential. That is where the reminder is. And sometimes we need to be reminded of what we deeply know, but maybe we have forgotten. And this isn't a knowing of just thoughts and prayers and action, but it is an embodied living. I know that's why, when I went through ministerial school, they said, Savannah, this is a calling. This is like a forever thing. This isn't just something you just, you acquire, you get it, and then it's done. It's like, no, this is a forever embodied evolution process, right? The difference, I think, in positive thinking and knowing the truth is that there is a conviction, there is a deep trust and a certainty as we are thinking and feeling and knowing. And this is the heart of a practitioner. And I think all of us are practitioners of this science, this teaching, this philosophy, and we operate under the knowing that God is all there is. It is the only activity and it is the only thing that is happening right now. And we know that we are inextricably connected to it. We are unified with it. This is the oneness that we talk about. And the realization of that is where we get to practice this by knowing that without a doubt, despite the conditions, despite what's happening in your life, despite fear, scarcity, limitation, lack, death, loss, all of the hard things in life, the heartbreak, whatever the condition, we affirm what we want to see. So this is not about wishful thinking, but it's about expected thinking. You will see in the Science Mind textbook, expectancy, the word expectancy, quite a bit. So we keep our attention on where we want to go. And that means that we keep our hearts open. And we have to be clear on what it is that we want to see. Many of us are clear on what we don't want to see. But you getting clear on what it is that you want to see in the world, in your life, knowing that despite the appearances, wholeness is. And some people would criticize that and they would say, well, yes, but this is reality. Like, look, it's fact. I can see how bad it is. I can see that this isn't going to work. I had a friend recently tell me how badly he wanted to do stand-up comedy for his whole life. And I told him, I said, you are hilarious. Like, you could really do this. And he said, well, I would love to, but I'm just so nervous. And so he started, making a list of all the reasons why he couldn't do the thing he wants to do. So I call it fighting for limitations. And I said to him, if you don't try, you're never going to know. You have to start the thing. You have to look beyond the appearances of whatever story you're creating, of whatever is in front of you. And you have to say to yourself, this is not the entire story of my life. There is more here for me. And I would say the same to you. This is not the entire story of your life. There is more for you. There is more good here for you. There is more opportunity here for you. This is a great affirmation. This isn't the only story. I mean, it seems like a lifetime ago, but back in 2012, I moved my life to Egypt. And it was a risk. I think back now, like, man, in retrospect, how many quote unquote crazy things that other people thought that I was doing. And I didn't know how it was going to turn out. I moved there right in the middle of a revolution, and people thought I was nuts, but I was willing to lose it all to not regret it. I mean, I could see it in my mind's eye. I had a vision for what it looked like. I mean, from the moment I got to the airport, I was visualizing this constantly in my prayer work. I was like, this is a decision I want to make, and nobody could talk me out of it. I had this vision of what I wanted to experience there and what I wanted it to look like. And you know what? It did. It was actually even better than I could have thought. And it was hard. There were elements of it that were difficult. It was tumultuous. It was beautiful and rich. And there was a lot of learning. And the message in the mess that was living there for 9 months was I became so much stronger. I got to witness my own resilience. And, I got to see my vision demonstrated, in ways that I could not have obviously predicted. And then it became my reality, and it was very cool to watch. And then, of course, the Science Mind magazine and all these really cool things happened because of that experience. And I've had countless experiences of this, of knowing my truth and the truth, despite what other people thought, despite what other people have had to say, against all odds, despite what other people may have thought or didn't understand about my vision. There was always this like inner nudge, this inner pull, this inner knowing, this trusting. And it is about a trust in yourself. It is about a trust of the divine presence within you. So if in this moment you're experiencing transition or heartbreak or loss, if you're experiencing uncertainty, which I would say every one of us are to some degree, it is an invitation to come back to your center, which is your place of power, and trusting in yourself and trusting in life. It is the thing in you that knows what to do, or knows that something is not aligned, that knows that something is off, or knows that your body needs something, or knows that you have to leave the relationship, or the job, or the thing that isn't working for you. And I think that what sets us apart, people who are highly successful in life, I think what sets them apart from people who are not is that there's a trusting life part. There's this deep certainty that they know that everything is going to work out. And that is the faith muscle we have to develop every single day. And when we are unable, we call someone. We call a practitioner, we call a friend, we call someone who can know this with and for us. And the Science Mind teaching has saved so many people's lives. And so I want to give you 4 pieces of wisdom that I lean into, especially right now, more than ever, with what's happening, in my life, in the world, when I'm confronted with something that is hard and painful, difficult, when I am in the storm of life. These are the things that I remind myself of, and I offer them to you, is I'm strong enough to move through this because I'm resilient. I mean, that's a great affirmation too. I'm strong enough to move through this because I'm resilient. I have my own back. Do you have your own back? Having ourselves is the most beautiful thing. It is knowing I am enough no matter what is happening out there, no matter what someone did or said or didn't do. I am strong enough to move through this because I am resilient. That's number 1. Number 2 is I have an amazing support system to remind me who I am. And if you don't have a whole support system, find one person, 1 or 2 people that you can trust who have your back too, who you can call and say, hey, could you just know the truth for me right now? Meaning, can you tell me what I'm forgetting about who I am? The third one is, God is the essence of my life. And if you don't like the word God, use a different word. Use the word love or infinite power or universe. God is the essence of my life. I trust that there is something here for me, and I may not have it figured out yet, but there is a reason for this. And I may not see that reason yet, but it was not by accident. It came onto my path for a reason, and God is at the core of it. Love is at the core of it. The fourth thing is, and this is a big one. I think this is one of the big ones when you come into this teaching where people are like, "Oh, I'm not sure that I want to know that much. I'm not sure I want to be that conscious," which is my point of power is in not being a victim. My point of power is in my response. It is remembering who I am and what I am worthy of. And the sooner that I remember this, the sooner I stop suffering because I then know and remember that I have dominion. I have dominion over my reaction, over my response. I have dominion over where I'm putting my thoughts and my attention. So I'm going to take my power back. You know, I want to say 3 years ago, I was having crazy, I don't know, it was going on for like 3 years. I was having like crazy night sweats, and I thought, this cannot be happening to me. Like, I am not old enough to be going through this stage of life yet. So I went to the doctor. They ran all these blood tests, and I will never forget this moment. The doctor called me on a Friday at the very end of the workday, and we were talking about some of my lab work, and she goes, "Oh, before I let you go, I think it's important that you know that you tested positive for TB." And I said, "What? Wait, I tested positive for what?" I said, "You mean tuberculosis?" She's like, "Yeah, TB." And my brain went all over the place. And I said, "You mean Doc Holliday TB? Like consumption? Like, really?" And I literally laughed out loud because I couldn't believe I mean, it made no sense. And she said, "Well, how many countries have you been to?" And so I started listing all the countries. And she said, "I've never really seen a case of this in the US and, this part for 6 years. I'm going to have to give this to the CDC." And long story short, it was it was latent. So thank goodness I would have been very sick. But I remember in that moment, and it's interesting that I even went there. I remember in that moment saying, this will be a great sermon someday. This will be like, who says that? Like, I got TB? Like, really? And so it's just this reminder that we can reframe the story that we are being presented with. There was a gift in that. I hated that experience, of course, but it has been part of the resiliency and the tapestry of my life. And so it's like, what is the gift that you are being given in this moment? What is the opportunity here? How am I going to use every bit of this difficult situation to reframe it for my good? When I think about my own business, my own entrepreneurial business, I was reminded not long ago that, I was like, how do we build something from scratch? Like, how do we start something new when we want to launch a project or something that we really, really care about? And what I was reminded of is that it all starts in consciousness. We have to plant new seeds. And if you look at some of the biggest corporations, in the world now, they started off in extremely humble circumstances. Microsoft started in Bill Gates's garage, like parents' garage. And Facebook started in a dorm room, and Amazon started off as this online bookstore, and it took them over a year to sell a single book. The Mattel toy company started out selling doll houses for years before they created the Barbie doll. And so the vision was already within these entrepreneurs. And so it is a reminder that whatever you're working on, whatever you're creating, whatever you're dreaming about, whatever you're exploring or starting, whatever is happening in the world of effect, you've got to envision and bring your focus back to what it is that you wish to see, despite the conditions and the appearance. And so you could apply this to the politics of the world. We continue to know the truth despite the current situation. And this is where our power is. Viktor Frankl said, when we are no longer able to change the situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. Case in point, perfect example of this. Back in 12 years ago, 2013, I was at Mile High Church. I was doing what they called like a mock ministerial panel because I was not yet a minister. And so it was kind of a practice panel, right? And I went in front of my soon-to-be colleagues, and they were, asking me all sorts of questions about my ministry. And there was one gentleman on the panel who sadly has passed since then, but he was a lawyer, and I will never forget this experience because he had a history of tripping people up. Like he would go into like investigative mode. And I remember he questioned my purpose and my passion for ministry. And I remember saying to him, well, I would like to have a global ministry. I would like to have a ministry without walls. I want to be traveling the world. I want to bring this teaching to different parts of the world, and I want an online platform. And you have to know that 12 years ago, 2013, online ministry was not a thing. It was kind of laughed at as not real ministry. And I said, I want to discover a diversity of language and culture. And I had already been working in Ukraine and Egypt at the time at this point. And so I already had the vision in my mind of where I wanted it to go. But there was this idea within, I would say, our organization as a whole that online ministry is not real ministry, and no one was talking about it. And so I remember in that moment, it was kind of a place of power of like calling him out. My eyes watered. I started to tear up. And it shook me so much when I left there because he couldn't see the vision that I was seeing. And I was afraid, well, he doesn't see my vision. Am I just not going to pass my panel? You know? And, I obviously I passed my panel and everything was fine. But the message here was that I really got in a big way was we do not have to get other people to see our vision if we see our vision. It is not my job to convince anyone that my vision is enough or that my ministry is even enough. My job is to continue demonstrating personal power and integrity and peace and joy and truth, despite what it looks like out there, despite what other people have to say. It's the same for you. You don't have to get people to buy into your vision if you see your vision. I just launched a podcast not long ago. I soft launched it, and it's the same situation of worrying about, is this going to land? Are people going to like it? You have to find people that align with you. We keep our hearts open. We keep the possibilities open. It is our job then to continue holding a vision that aligns with our values. And my values are authenticity and truth and integrity and respect and collaboration without wavering despite the conditions. It's also not your job to convince somebody that you're worthy of love, of care, of energy. It is our job, it is your job to continue loving and choosing yourself despite what anybody else does. To me, this is about alignment. And the irony of all of this is that 2020, with the pandemic, brought online ministry to the forefront, and my ministry was thriving. Like, we couldn't have survived as an organization without online ministry. And it was like, I saw this for myself years ago, and obviously it didn't look the way that I had envisioned it at the time, but that doesn't mean that it can't. And that's what's so beautiful about it. You have to keep, it's like, the Bible verse of keeping your eyes on the glory of, I forget the whole verse, but you have to keep your attention on the thing that you want to see. And so the lesson here is that we have to trust the vision for what has been placed on our hearts. We have to know the truth despite what the conditions of the world are, despite the financial situation, despite what the past brought, despite what used to be, despite how hurt you are, despite how scared you may be. You ask yourself the question, what else might be true here? Where am I in my life closing or withholding or suppressing or resisting in my life? Where am I hiding? This is the invitation for you to come out into the beautiful mess, to actually find the gift and to find the message despite what is happening in the world. And it means that we have to do maybe double the spiritual practice that we normally would. It means that we have to sit and ground within ourselves long enough that we start to believe it, that we start to trust it. If money and resources and time and fill in the blank were of no obstacles, what would you see and envision for your life and in your community? Start writing about it. Start envisioning it. Those events in my life I can see now they unfolded so perfectly. And the work starts in consciousness. It is really good to remind ourselves in these moments of crisis that our faith is important, our faith in something greater. Does authenticity and truth beam from my life? Am I aligned with my core values and my vision? Where am I playing small in my life? Where in my life do I see that I'm off, I'm misaligned, and something isn't right? And I'm not saying anything about it. So we get to take up space with our vision of what is possible. And so you get to sit and really ponder, well, what is your vision for yourself in the world? Because your authentic voice matters here. We can look back and see that we have seen the belly of the whale. We've been inside of it, right? We've been in the trials and the tribulations of the heroine's journey. And sometimes we go back to sleep and we forget what we know deeply within ourselves. We get off track with our humanness. And so I'm calling us back to remembering our value of truth, to reignite and re-remember if you forgot the dream that was placed on your heart or that creative idea that never got off the ground, to remember your wholeness despite the illness or the health challenge that you're experiencing, to reignite your passion and your excitement about a new career option maybe, or maybe it's a new path that is now just being illuminated. So if you get anything from my talk this morning, it is to trust the process of your life, to deeply trust the process of the vision. Get clear on your vision, to not entertain circumstances of failure or limitation, to stay aligned with those values until you watch it miraculously unfold before your eyes. There was a quote I saw this week that I love so much that said, "A smooth sea never made a skilled sailor." So if you're worried about what other people are going to think of you, or you're hoping other people are going to see your vision, or you're waiting for others to choose you, or to choose an idea, or to accept all that you are, I want you to remember this. So I want to close with this, and I want you to just take this into your heart. You may close your eyes or just be with it. What I want you to remember is that the version of you that tries to make someone stay or play small isn't the most radiant version. You shine brighter when you're met, not when you're waiting, when you're in full alignment. You see, love without presence is just potential, and potential doesn't keep us warm at night. And you, my love, you, my dear, are not here to convince someone to rise. You're not here to convince other people to rise. You're here to meet people that are already standing. They're already ready to match your wingspan. People can only meet us to the degree that they have met themselves. And so it's not about care, it's not about interest, it's about capacity. So we choose ourselves today. We choose to see a different vision, a different story, to stay the course, to look beyond what is happening in the world of effect, and to declare and to know despite that. And that is the real work. So with that, I want to go into a prayer now. And this prayer is rooted in peace, because that is the topic and the theme of all things, really. That the power and the presence of life, of infinite intelligence, is right where we are. It is the very thing that is holding everything together. And it is also the very thing that is allowing things to fall away. And that power and that presence is goodness. It is love, intelligence. It is the greatest power that ever was or ever will be. And that power is creative, and that power lives and breathes and moves through each and every one of us. And it allows us to remember the truth of who we are to such a degree that we become aligned with the things that we deeply, deeply value. And we watch our vision take root and take hold, and we watch the unlimited opportunities and possibilities come into our lives, and we watch the abundance pour in. And we watch the places of fear and lack and scarcity become moments of wholeness and healing and transformation. And we remember that love is guiding the way. And so my prayer today is that we remember the truth of who we are, that that resiliency comes from us refining, and evolving our thought and our prayer work into creating the life that we truly dream about. And so we allow that to solidify now into our hearts. And we send that out into the world, a prayer for the world, for peace, for love to ultimately be the thing that guides and directs our paths. And we give thanks, we give gratitude. We give gratitude for the expansiveness that each and every one of us are participating in right here and now, this co-creation of a world that we truly want to see and of a life that was meant for us. And so I bless us, and I know all is well. Thank you so much for tuning into this prayerful moment for this talk. And so for that, I give thanks, I let it be, and so it is. Amen, amen, ashe. I was like, is Amy
I
there?
lost my whole toolbar, and I hadn't been paying a bit of attention because I was just so tuned into the talk that I didn't know what happened with the screen. Oh my gosh, Savannah, thank you. So many just golden nuggets for us um to chew on, to digest. Um, just in your prayer alone, you said something important, because when you talked earlier about like just trust the process of your life, and then in your prayer you said, part of God is everything that's being held together, and then also what is falling away. And sometimes we forget that little that second
Yeah.
part, because we're like, we're just want to hang on, and we just that's what was supposed to be. What's going on? It wasn't my plan. So thank you for including that, because that's really part of that trust, that surrender too, of like, God, use me. God, what's next? Where am I to go? How am I to grow? What am I to know? That's my little morning thing that I say, and just grounds me. So I love your point you brought. Everybody watching, if you have questions, comments, or smart remarks, as TJ Woodward say, put them in the feed and we'll get to those. I'm strong enough to move through this XYZ, whatever, because I'm resilient. I have an amazing support system. And what a powerful, I mean, that might be something that people don't like think of to include, but it's so important, because when we get off track, when we have those moments where our frequency isn't quite pinging, at the highest, vibration, like, we need these reminders. We need the people to say, hey, I see you. I know who you are. I know I'm holding the truth here. Because I mean, let's face it, we're all in the human experience. We all have our moments.
Mhm.
That's inevitable. So it's like, who are you being fed by? Are you turning to, social media, where you're probably just going to feel worse after you scroll there? So it's like being mindful about, like, I have an amazing support system. I create that. I put that support system together. I know for a fact, like, my support system has held me in the darkest days. So super huge and important. God is the essence of my life. I trust that there's something for me. This is the whole life's happening for me, not against me. I'm not and
Mhm.
which brings you right into the last one, which is
Yeah.
my point of power is not being a victim. My point of power is in my response, and that is it right there. The shift from like, it's all happening so terribly to me, to like, hey, look what I'm given the opportunity to
Mhm.
grow with, to work with, to rise with. So
We could do a whole sermon on just point 4 on
and any of the points really, but yeah, exactly. I mean,
yeah.
that's a huge one, because I know Michael Beckwith has this. I know a lot of people have it. TJ has this also in his book, Conscious Being, the like levels of consciousness. I think he calls it, I forget what Michael
Kingdoms.
Beckwith
Yeah,
calls it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
anyway,
The
but
kingdoms of
it's always in there, like the victim role. Like, we have to move beyond in consciousness the victim role when we get to that. Otherwise, we're just going to stay in this vortex of
yeah.
everything's happening. I have no power then, right?
Mhm.
Because everything's happening to me. I love that you brought up Viktor Frankl too. And, like, when we can't change anything, it's like we can still always come back to ourselves and what we can do there. And that's a very important message. Let's check in. And I love your story about Jessie. That
Yeah.
was great. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was a long time ago. It's
She's
very
just so such a blessing. And I don't know, I've spent a lot of time in Columbus, Ohio recently in the last year, and she's from Columbus. And so when I first met her, I was like, hey, we're gonna have to hook up in Columbus. So let's check in with everybody's comments. Yes, the music was wonderful. Sonia, we don't have to convince others to see my vision if I see my vision. Yes.
Mhm.
Huge piece that Savannah touched on there, right? Because sometimes we want to, then we get into the oversharing, like, well, this is why, and can't you see? And I want to be understood. It's
Yeah.
like not necessary. Thank you, Sonia. Pat says, one advisor just told me that she thought my concept for the TEDx talk was not what they're looking for. I disagree with
Mm,
her opinion. And it will not dissuade me. My vision is clear.
that's awesome.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wayne's here giving us flowers. Bob's here. Appreciation hearts. Pat says this message is extremely synchronistic for me right now. Well, isn't it always that way? Jesse says, yes, love this. Thank you, Reverend Savannah. I know she said some other things up top too. I don't know why I don't see them anymore. Sometimes the feed is so weird. Oh yeah, there they are. She said, grateful for you, Savannah.
I mean,
Um,
I honestly felt pretty vindicated when 2020 hit and online online ministry
right.
became the thing. I was like, "See, guys, I told you it's real."
That's right. Yeah, right. And it goes back to that we can't create from what's behind us because that's only a picture from what's behind us. If we're creating in the future stuff we just don't even know yet. So to stay open to the possibilities. I mean, geez, just those of us that like grew up without cell phones. I mean, I was on DOS green screen computer back in high school,
Yeah.
like I saw the whole thing like show up. It's like we could not have even thought it up then. It was like if somebody told you that, it'd be like, what are you talking about?
It was a foreign concept then. It was
I
like,
mean,
that's not real
yes.
ministry. Yeah.
So we
But
know this is true to stay because we have no like we can only see as far as we can see right now. But if we have a vision that is expansive, even if we can't see with our eyes yet, like we have the feeling tone, the energy of like, I know this is bigger. I know where this is going.
yeah. I mean, it's not like I knew how it was going to happen. I just knew that
Right.
that's what I wanted, So
Yeah, but
it
even to speak that in 2012, that was pretty significant
Mhm.
because there wasn't a lot. 2012, like the online space, it didn't have, I mean, I was working for a magazine. We were still doing all our editing around a table with pens and paper, different color pens and writing it. It wasn't until 2020 and we had to get online to figure out how to do all the editing online. It's like, so now, that wasn't that long ago.
Yeah.
So there's,
It's amazing. Which is why, I mean, you have to be true. I've always known that I wasn't going to have a pulpit and that, maybe someday in time, who knows? But that too, it's difficult because people have expectations of what they think is good for you, or what they see you doing. And so it might be a lonely path, and it has been, but it's still the most fulfilling and rewarding because I know I'm being true to myself. And that's the message to everybody is don't listen to what other people say. Trust the vision on your heart. And that, like, it's the
amen
whole
to that.
thing.
I mean, seriously, like amen to that because in the latter part of our life, like we're not going to look back and be like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't try that out. Like I didn't take that risk, right? And to just know that if something's placed on your heart, like that's not by accident. That's a divine design. And sometimes it can be scary for people too, especially like what you're talking about is like if you're people that love you can be like have fears for you like wow what if that doesn't work out and I wouldn't want to see you go through something hard so it's like can be carrying fears but like try to hold you back so like what if the monkey's pulling you down because they care right and so it's really having to continually come back to like I see something, and because it can be uncomfortable for a lot of people. I mean, just look at our center, for instance. Like, we've been doing this for 10 years now, which sometimes I'm like, whoa, 10 years. But what happened was we went from a minister-led model, and I had this vision. And I didn't call it rotating speakers at first because that would have been too much. But it was like rotating ministers. Let's do that, because I had this like idea. The vision was more like a educational platform at first. Like I couldn't quite sort it out, but it looks like instructors almost. And so I was trying to figure out what that meant. But when I brought it to the board, like, well, hey, what if we don't hire a minister and go this route, but we do this idea, this thing that's kind of like I'm feeling really strongly about. And they were like, okay, let's try it for a year and see how it works. And we're here 10 years later. It's like amazing, right? So it just always be in the exploration of what's planted on your heart,
Yeah.
despite what your talk title is like, despite what the appearances are. It looks impossible, or it looks like, how can you have an internet ministry, or online ministry? Like, what the heck does that look like? Well, yeah, then it looked like, who knows?
Yeah. Well,
But
and
you knew.
it's even the macro, if we think of it in terms of what's happening
Micro.
politically and globally, and it's really easy to get sucked into all of the negativity and the mire and the fear and all of that stuff. And it's like that's where we get to practice it there too. And it might, to me, it might be seem like something small, but I think it's so great. It's in the bigger scheme of things because the energy of love is far greater than the energy of fear. So, like,
Yeah.
it's a call for us to come back to that spiritual practice work of like, what is the world I want to see? How do I want to see my country? How do I want to see my life? Like, what values align with me? Like, it's that too, which takes work.
Yeah. Yeah. What we focus on. What is that? Tony Robbins said, where focus goes, energy flows, right? It's like, so where am I putting my life force? It's really what it comes down to. Like, where is my life force going? Is it, and we had this big conversation, over the last couple of days, down in LA, about, are we fighting against or standing for something? And there's a big difference in your energetic field. There's also a difference in what your fourth point was with about my point of power.
Mm.
Is it as a victim? Like I can't be a victim. I can't be a victim if I'm going to be powerful. And so when we're fighting against, a lot of times we tend to set ourselves in this like role of, they're against me or something's happening to me, so I'm going to now get out my boxing gloves. Whereas when we're standing for something, this is I'm responding now
Yeah.
from my truth, from what I see, my vision of the world. And there's a huge difference.
Yeah, for sure.
And I'm sure we're all like, we can all have seen that in the last few weeks, especially,
For sure.
because we all spend time in the social media world. So let's check in here. I think Pat had said, okay, we saw Pat, and then Jennifer said, so grateful, Reverend Savannah, for your rich and powerful message. Yes. Jan says, tears of gratitude, focus, pay attention, gratitude, align with core values, trust, faith, reignite, say no to victimhood, strength. Yes. Laurent says, lots of cards. Kathy says, thank you, Jesse and Savannah. Michael J says, grateful for the messages, beloved, much to download. Yeah, that's why I said, when Savannah comes, there's always a lot to digest.
It's funny. Recently in my podcast, I literally said at the beginning of this last episode that, look, I know that a lot of what I share is dense because there's so much content here. But I was like, listen to it 2 or 3 times, you may get something else out of it. I'm aware of that, but when it comes out, I can't stop that. So
Yeah,
it is a
it's
lot, but
but it's perfect, and it's how you function. That's the way you function highest. It's just
way. Yeah.
to download.
I
That's
know it's
perfect.
a lot. Michael
It's
Beckwith would
perfect.
always say that it bypasses the, what is it, the conscious mind right into your subconscious because he talks so fast, you know?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, there is truth in that. It's an activation, and I have that experience. So,
yeah.
yeah, there's a lot of truth in that,
But
because you're downloading the frequency, not necessarily the words. But yeah.
oh, that's good. Jan just said, I am remembering the affirmation, this isn't the only story. Yeah, that's such a powerful,
Oh, yeah,
this isn't my only story. Yeah, love it.
I do love that. Yeah, and and that we can always create a. I loved this. Smooth seas never make sailors.
Yeah.
That was very cute. Very, very cute. Yeah, yeah, and our story can always be reframed. And really, and I've seen this a lot with people, that have been accustomed sort of in the victim grind for a long time, and then they realize, I have a choice, and then they reframe the story to have a response and have a whole different creation out of it. Kathy says, I always love your talk, Savannah, because you are so open and real.
Oh, thank you.
Yes.
That means a lot.
Vulnerability is, well, I mean, so many things, but I really feel strongly that that it is the pathway to healing, like true healing, not just Band-Aid healing. So I think that's why, we're ready for it around here. That's why I say, okay, Savannah, bring it.
Well, thank you for having me. I'm super grateful.
We are so grateful, beloved, for you. Thank you so much for saying yes. And we always look forward to seeing you again. We're going to close with the prayer of divine awakening and then send everybody off into the great, wide, beautiful world. So oh, wait, let me share the screen because that's how you get to speak this prayer out. Let me go share screen. I think it's up. The prayer of divine awakening. It's a new day, a beautiful day, a new beginning. I embrace this day with new eyes, an open heart, and expansive mind. I choose my vibrational frequency deliberately and consciously, harmonizing with life's events. I am receptive to source energy, divine guidance, and wisdom available to me at all times. I commit to serve unconditional love fully and completely. I move forward in a state of appreciation and extension of the one magnificent power and presence. I am sovereign, whole, and free, claiming dominion over my life as I go in peace and awaken to my divinity. And so it is. Savannah, just tell everybody real quick how to find you and your podcast and all the things you're doing.
Yeah, just go to Substack, Savannah Noelle. You'll find my podcast there. I'm trying to do one every few weeks. So, and my writings as well. You can find me on all the social media platforms as well. Savannah Noelle.
Perfect. We love you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Everybody, shine on, bright ones. I will see you Wednesday at the Peace Walk, 6:30, Brentwood City Park.
Thank you guys.
Blessings, everybody.